Today involving a local resident who was threatened with being arrested if he steps foot on public property to attend a public meeting. Now, you may have heard about the bedbug issue. There's been an outspoken critic on his blog and in other places. John Ty is with me on the line right now. John, how are you?
Hi, Alex. Good to talk to you.
All right. So when did you become so dangerous in a threat that you were threatened with being arrested if you set foot anywhere to attend a public meeting?
Well, I go to all the city council meetings and I bring my camera. And back in, I think it was November, out of the blue, those women got up and they spoke about the bed bugs, and I had no idea about it. So I filmed them and put it up on YouTube and hosted it on my blog, and that's when it got the ball rolling that everybody started looking at it. So I continued to write about the housing authority, and as I was driving by one day, I saw a bunch
let's stop there, because I want to flesh this out a little bit for people who might not have heard about it, because this kind of bed bug issue and what's going on with the housing authority, the executive director, and people who live there has been kind of out there for a while now, right? I mean, it's been going on for some time. So,
since that first meeting.
Yeah, what was the complaint raised, that they were just being overridden by these vermin, or what?
Yeah, they came. There's a public comment period, and some residents from the house of Stonecliff came and spoke in the public comment period. And I go to all these meetings, and I had my camera, so I filmed them as they pleaded. They just pleaded for help, saying that they were getting bitten alive and nobody was doing anything.
So they were saying basically we're overridden with these beasties, and they had complained about it before, and they just nothing happened.
They had been threatened, and they had been told if they went to the papers or if they went to the city and complained about it, there would be repercussions.
The people who live there were told not to bring this forward.
Absolutely, told not to make it public. They said we are like a family, and we keep our family problems in the family.
What were they told when they said, "Hey, I got all these the bugs in here. Can you fumigate?" What happened? Why didn't
they were given steamers and told they could purchase from the housing authority mattresses and basements that were quite expensive. And they would loan them the money for the encasements at a very reasonable rate of interest.
Really?
That's what they were told.
Okay.
And it was their problem because
how many of these? This is public housing, right?
Yeah.
How many of the units were infested by bed bugs? Do we have a number?
They have, from actually the housing authority number, the official number was 23 were infested, but that's their own number. I've heard that it was more, but that's the official number that were infested. And then after this all became public, then they actually did bring in a professional fumigator to fumigate the whole thing. But by this point, people, including me, had started looking at his salary, how much money he was making, how he was running it, how he took his truck home every night.
You're talking about the executive director.
Yes, and I wrote a series of articles.
Ed Spichalski, because he's the go-to guy on these problems, right?
Absolutely.
He's responsible for what's happening in this building. That's his job, right?
Yeah.
He's like the landlord then.
He is the landlord, and there is no appeal beyond him. I mean, his policy, the board that's supposed to oversee him, we have a stamp for, as his contract shows, the only way he can be fired is if he agrees that he should be fired, and then they have to pay a fine of his contract at $150,000. It is the most generous contract I've ever seen given to any public official in my life.
Yeah, so more attention was being brought to light about Spichalski's contract when he was hired at 74 G's and now pulling down 152 G's, and the residents of the place that he's responsible for are complaining that they're not getting any action on this bed bug issue. That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. And I mean, he is I believe he is the highest paid public official in Saratoga County. And we have not been able to ascertain what his educational background is. I believe he's a high school graduate.
How did he? Is there some nepotism going on here? How did he get? How did he get this gig?
This goes back to our famous Mayor Val Keene, and she's the gift that keeps on coming. And under her, She lobbied for him to take over the position. She did not want it to go to a search for the best qualified person. Her exact words, she wanted to keep politics out of it and appoint the best man for the job, and that guy was Ed Spikowski. He got the job originally at a reasonable salary of $79,000 or $76,000, and then in the course of 5 years, it had ballooned to $152,000.
Yeah, so it doubled in 5 years.
Yeah, it doubled, plus he put his son on the payroll, he put his daughter on the payroll.
Oh, there's the nepotism then.
It's not just that, the entire board, like the head maintenance man's wife works there and the wife's brother works there. Nobody works there. You got to connect the dots of everybody.
Well, wait a minute.
We don't cost the city any money, so you should mind your own business because all our money comes from the federal government. And
the other imaginary taxpayers who don't exist.
Absolutely, and they think that we should just mind our own business because they, and what happened to bed bugs, if you had just fixed the bed bugs, none of this would have came to light. But the more we looked into it, and, I was a well-known critic of this, and I was writing about it, and I went over there in the parking lot, and there were some mattresses, because he was claiming at first he was claiming there were no bed bugs. It was isolated in 1 or 2 units, only 1 or 2 bugs. So I went over there to take some pictures of these discarded mattresses that were in the housing authority trunk in their parking lot, in a public parking lot. It didn't say anything about no trespassing. It said unauthorized vehicles will be towed away at owner's expense.
Oh, look at you. You're quite the pill then, right? You're not willing to let this go, huh?
No, so I go over there at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekend, and I start taking pictures to put up my blog of these discarded mattresses that were just thrown in a truck. And then Ed Spikowski comes out and he asks what I'm doing.
You're outside, right?
I'm outside.
You're not in anybody's apartment, knocking on doors, soliciting. You're outside. Okay.
I'm outside in a public parking lot, and I had talked to residents because I know. I mean, I'm from such a small town. I know a lot of people who live there.
Yeah.
Quite a few, actually.
And they're wondering why their voices aren't being heard. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, they came to me with their problems, and I gave them a voice on my blog to tell their problems.
Gotcha.
And Spikowski comes out and he asks who I told him exactly who I was. I said, here's my camera. You can look at it. You can see the pictures. I gave him my driver's license. He goes, well, I'm taking a picture of your car. I said, you go ahead and take all the pictures you want to of me. I said, he goes, I'm going to report you to the police. I said, go ahead. I don't care. I said, it's a public parking lot. He goes, no, it's not. It's my parking lot. So anyway, I said, well, I'm done. I'm leaving. So I didn't know this, but about an hour later, the police were dispatched to my house. They put a bulletin out looking for me. They found me on Broadway where I was ordered to go to the police.
The police, okay, so you're taking pictures of the mattress because there are people complaining about the bed bugs. We've established that. You're just out there
saying there weren't any.
But we know that that's not true anymore.
Yeah, we know that wasn't true.
They've admitted that. They've admitted that the problem was bigger than they said initially.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just out there taking pictures like anybody else would of mattresses.
Of public vehicles, of the mattresses thrown in the back of public vehicles. And they've been there for a couple days.
All right.
And they just discarded them. So after I never did get the copy of the complaint he filed with the police, but the police were dispatched to my house. I wasn't home. And then they had a bulletin out looking for me. They found me walking down Broadway about 3 o'clock that afternoon. I was ordered to the police station. There I was served with a no trespass notice, which told me that if I set foot near the housing authority or Jefferson or any of the houses, not just Stonequist, but Jefferson Terrace, Vanderbilt Terrace, multiple complexes throughout the city, I would immediately be arrested.
For what? For being on a parking lot?
For being I was a trespasser.
A public parking lot, though, not a private residence.
No, and this had no judicial review. This was not reviewed by a judge. It was done at the sole discretion of Ed and the police.